You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's #1 show for smart retirement planning. He's a best-selling author, radio personality, and a fiduciary advisor you can trust. Get ready for expert insights, straight talk, and strategies to secure your future. Now, here's Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor, Eric Kearney.
Welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. To our viewers at home, thank you as always for welcoming us into your show, into your room each and every week with the show, I should say. Thank you for always turning to us for advice and guidance Eric and Joseph have for retirement planning. So stay with me for just a moment. We want you to do a gut check at home. A retirement gut check. What exactly does that mean and what does that involve? You're going to find out momentarily. Again, thank you for being with us. Eric, how are you?
I'm great, Cynthia.
So good to see you.
So I
thought you were going to say something else.
I'm so overwhelmed being here.
I love it. Joseph, how are
Fantastic.
you? That is wonderful. You two just make me smile and laugh every single week. We have so much fun. The viewers at home know that as well. So thank you both for just being genuinely authentic you. I love it.
You know, the one thing, Cynthia, I don't think that a lot of people realize is that Cynthia and I have been working together since 2019. So
yes,
this goes way back. I mean, so it's like, so some people might think, oh, I wonder how long they've been working together. It's been a long time. So there's sometimes we're on set, we just like laugh just because we've known each other so long. And a lot of people do want to know more about Cynthia. And I will tell you this, the one thing that I find so amazing about you, Cynthia, is that even when we're not shooting, if I text you or call you or anything, boom, like that, it's like, it's like returned like right away. I don't know how you have so much time in the world, but everybody in your life seems very important to you. So I always appreciate that. And I've always appreciated our friendship. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's been such an honor being with you this whole journey, and there's more to come in the years ahead. And then obviously, Joseph, having you as an amazing addition, you joined obviously after 2019, but it's been really an incredible experience. And you both are so amazing. And viewers at home, if you are watching us for the first time, these two are just as genuine in person as what you see on the show. So you can't go wrong by calling the number that'll come up on your screen today. So let's talk about that retirement gut check. People right now are wondering what exactly that is. And so the first question I have is, how often do people think that they have a retirement plan, but really they just have investments?
Oh, yeah. The old pile of statements, right? So it's really funny. On our podcast, Farm Truck Financial, it goes out through the whole United States. And so we get a lot of phone calls from people that are actually calling in and saying, hey, I'm interested in getting a little bit of advice. And so as we get more into the phone call, I start to ask them, okay, what kind of financial planning have you done? What kind of income planning have you done? And they say, well, geez, Eric, I can send you my statements. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Right.
No financial planning, no income planning. So what we have to realize is that when you have a pile of statements, it's going to show discipline. It's going to show that over time you scrimped, you saved, you socked money away for hopefully something that's going to be a very long retirement. The difference is, and the confusion really becomes, is that even though you have a pile of statements, that is not a direction of statements or a direction of assets or a direction of income. So while you have all of these, we have to figure out how we're going to derive income from that, because the bottom line is you don't spend a portfolio, you spend income.
Most definitely. That's what it comes down to, Eric. Thank you so much for shedding light on that. And also, I have to ask you, when you're looking overall at someone coming into the office for the first time, what elements are commonly missing? What are people not planning for specifically?
So I don't think people really understand how to plan for inflation, right? So the problem, inflation is not really a problem, but ignoring it really is. And so a lot of times people are like, man, life is getting to be really expensive. You know, we had the family over for dinner the other night and I was like, I'll just make meatloaf, right? I mean, everybody likes meatloaf, right? And so I go to the store and I'm walking out and there are some things that I just can't get out of my head. And the one thing that I couldn't get out of my head was it's just meatloaf for 4 people and it was $62. And that's with ingredients still at my house.
Wow.
So all the way home, I'm like driving the car and I'm like, I can't believe I just spent $62. I wish I had somebody else's credit card, but no, it's my credit card, you know, but like $62 for meatloaf. Like, how did that happen? And so it's like Financial planning is no differently. Like, life gets expensive. A few shows earlier, we talked about, like, in 2000, what things have doubled in 25 years.
Oh, yes.
So when we take a look at that, we realize that healthcare has doubled. The cost of a home has doubled. Vehicles, daycare, food. It's just, life is expensive anymore. And so people aren't prepared for that. Can you imagine if we feel the effects in like 1 or 2 years, what it's like in another decade or 2 decades? So again, financial planning, you have to embrace it. You have to do it. But you also have to find a team that's going to cover all of your bases for you.
Most definitely. And you're the right team for that. Joseph, let me ask you this. This is another one. What does retirement customization truly look like? To customize a plan for someone, because maybe someone's hearing that word for the first time today.
Yeah, I mean, no two retirements look the same. So you never want to be doing anything that's cookie cutter or feeling like you're being pushed into some template, if you will, right? Everybody has such different lifestyles, different risk factors, goals, objectives, things that they want to achieve in retirement. And you want to make sure that at the center of your plan is that lifestyle. How much is it costing you? Are you supporting your family? Are you traveling more? Is there healthcare involved? But then there's also a lot of other aspects to financial planning as well, like long-term care, like taxes, like planning for inflation, like we were just talking about, estate planning, transferring the generational wealth. So there's so many other things that come into this financial plan. And I think if people start to feel like their financial planning is starting to feel like the advisor is pushing them into, well, here's how we do it for everybody. So here's what this looks like. It typically means that it's not customized, right? Because they're just trying to morph you into whatever template works for them. It shouldn't be about them. It should be about you and your lifestyle. The plan should be surrounding that, and it should be completely customized to your situation. And, we had talked about it on last week's show, and I wanted to add it in there, but I didn't want to, take away from your monologue, so to cut into you. But when somebody comes in the office and they have a pile of statements and no financial plan, one of the first questions I always ask myself is like, where is that advisor starting from? If you don't start from the financial plan, because that should be determining how the investments are placed, right? It's from that financial plan. I always think about it as if I had a stomach ache and I went to go see the doctor and I walk in the room and I'm like, well, my stomach hurts. And he goes, okay, great. And he writes on the script and he hands it to the nurse and he walks out.
Right.
Yeah.
What? You didn't run any tests on me? You didn't ask me further symptoms? You didn't,
Right.
What do you mean? It's just a blanket. If you have a stomach ache, you get this and that's it. You go see the other patients. You're doing it with the other patients.
Yeah.
It's no different than financial planning, being a financial advisor, and what this industry has come to be honest, is people are not getting customized service anymore. They're getting, they're brought into an office. Before that person even shows up at that office, that advisor knows what they're getting placed in. And that's just not the way it should be.
No, I can't even imagine that. The only time one size fits all has ever worked was the Snuggly. Remember the Snuggie?
That was awesome, yeah.
That is the only time that I've ever seen anything truly be one size fits all.
Yeah.
When it comes to retirement planning, you cannot have that. It has to be customized. So Eric, this next one before we take a commercial break would be, what happens when advice is too generic? It's too generic.
Yeah, it falls apart. I mean, the biggest thing is that when you have generic advice and it is put under pressure, it falls apart. And then all of a sudden we get emotional. And when we get emotional, we move to make bad decisions very quickly. Why? Because we just want to make a decision. So a lot of times when we're forced to make a decision, remember sometimes when something bad happens, you're like, I don't care what the outcome is. I just want to make a decision and have this thing be done. But a lot of times the decisions that we make today are crucial for the next 2 decades. And so we've got to be very careful. The thing about health is a lot of times it's like your wealth. If you get sick, you may be looking out of town or out of state to actually get better health care. And we've had a lot of clients who something happens and they're like, do all their research. They end up in Texas or they end up in northern Florida, or they will end somewhere where these guys are actual specialists at what is going on with them. So having a large base of clients, we actually are putting together kind of like a black book of different doctors and outfits that are out there. So in case we do have a client that gets this, we can actually give them a solid referral from another client. And I want to be very careful how I say this, but we have had existing clients actually reach out and help other clients when they get into a health situation. So I'll leave it at that. But the bottom line is that we want to get involved and try to help them be better. But the bottom line is that doesn't come from generic advice. So again, things are going to get harder in retirement if we're not offsetting them by financial planning. Your tax situation is going to get harder unless we start to mitigate the taxes. So everything gets more difficult, and you've got to remember that strong, sophisticated advice is really the place to be. So your retirement is always going to change. Your financial plan has to always ebb and flow along with you.
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. Viewers at home, the retirement gut check, that's what we're taking today. And so I have to ask you a question. With the knowledge and the advice that you've been given so far, can you sit there and say that your plan is doing this for you? Is it customized? Is it truly written with your specific situation in mind? Remember, you're a very unique individual. Your plan should not be the neighbor's plan next door to the right or to the left. It's customized exactly for you. We're offering you a discovery consultation, which is only 10 minutes of your time. And who doesn't have 10 minutes? The number to call is 1-800-779-1942, 1-800-779-1942. Or you can grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That's the landing page to get to the schedule of Retirement Wealth Advisors. When we come back from this very short commercial break, we're going to continue talking about why you should have a retirement gut check, and just make sure that your plan is the right one for you. Stay tuned.
Welcome in, everyone. My name is Joseph Lanza with Retirement Wealth Advisors, and today I'm joined again with Donna Crone, our certified financial planner. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the different aspects to financial planning that are not just the numbers, Donna. They're not just spreadsheets that are getting ran. There's a lot more to that financial plan that brings a client a lot of comfort and joy, if you will. I want to talk a little bit more about that.
When people retire, or really at any stage of their life, when they think about their finances, it is really just numbers, right? But in reality, these things that we go through in our life, like transitioning into retirement, impact us on many more levels than just finances.
Absolutely.
So I think people focus on, if I can just get my numbers in alignment, if I can just get that to match, I'll be okay. When we discount the emotional, mental, intellectual, spiritual side of this phase of our lives, it can almost make trying to achieve those goals hollow. So let me give you a good example. Let's say, and we've certainly experienced this a number of times with our clients, that they want to buy a piece of real estate in another part of the country. They want to be closer to their adult children and really close to their grandchildren.
Of course.
That is a goal or a desire that goes way beyond money. Right? That is love. That's connection with family. That's the ability to be there, to watch their grandchildren grow up. There's a whole lot more in that than just, do the numbers match up?
Right.
And so when we're doing financial planning, we're taking that holistic approach, and we're factoring in not just, do the numbers align? We're factoring in, how can we achieve this goal for our client? How can we help them get there?
Absolutely, Donna. I think at the end of the day, that financial plan brings a lot of comfort and joy, that sleepability factor, if you will, to know that you can achieve all those goals that you've had for your such long, hardworking career. Donna, thanks so much for joining me today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And we're asking you at home to do a retirement gut check to make sure that you're receiving the retirement planning guidance that you need. And if not, you can call in today for that 10-minute discovery consultation. Joseph, I have a question for you. How can someone really tell if their advisor is being proactive or simply reactive? What are the signs?
Well, the first question I like to ask is there an actual financial plan being ran to help you make decisions in the portfolio? Okay, because if it's not, a reactive advisor is focused solely on the portfolio. A proactive advisor is going to do financial planning first. Financial planning is what allows us to answer those questions that every client has. When should I retire? What does my future tax liability look like? When should I take Social Security? All of those questions get answered by the financial plan. And I actually had met with somebody not that long ago who had been working with an advisor for, I think, 5 or 6 years now, and they were happy with the performance of the portfolio. And I saw the portfolio, and it was a good portfolio. But the reason that they came into the office was because they said, we have absolutely no idea when we can retire. Now, then when working with an advisor for the last 5, 6 years now, don't you think that that's one of the first things and first steps that they would put them through is that financial planning process? And we've talked about this on previous shows, what happened? They got blinded by the green in the portfolio, right? They saw that their investments were going up and they assume, well, things are doing good. I don't necessarily want to make a change here. But then they start getting significantly older, like, well, we also don't want to keep working forever. So, and when I brought this to the attention, the worst part is that they blame themselves. They said, well, we never asked for financial planning. You shouldn't have to ask for financial planning.
That's
it should
true.
be a part of, that's like the word proactive. You're doing something before something goes wrong or before there's an issue, okay? If you have to be the one that's asking for that financial planning, maybe things are a little bit backward. So just remember that a reactive advisor is going to focus only on the portfolio. A proactive advisor is going to focus on the purpose of that portfolio.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joseph. That was amazing. Eric, let me ask you this. How often should a retirement plan evolve?
Yeah, so our plans are updated on a very regular basis, whether the client cares or not. Want to talk about my sister again?
Shout her out.
Was she part of the meatloaf dinner?
Oh,
I'm just
yeah, she
asking.
was part
Okay.
of the meatloaf dinner. Did not pitch in, and I watched the dishes. So, $62 that meatloaf dinner cost me. So, what's happening is that we have to update the plan. Look, markets are unpredictable, but your financial plan shouldn't be. So what happens is the market's going to ebb and flow. We're going to go through geopolitical issues. We're going to go through political issues. We're going to go through pullbacks in the market. It's just what the market does. It goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. The bottom line, though, is that you still have a lifestyle to maintain through all of that. And so what we have to do is consistently update that portfolio. And it is based on your actual rates of return. So we are constantly evolving. And so when the client comes in, they actually want to know that that's updated. And I will tell you something very funny is we actually had a client who watched the show and she calls Autumn and she says, I want to come in to see Eric and Joseph. And Autumn's like, okay, can I ask what you want to do or what you want to go over? And she's like, I just want to see them. And so we literally went into the conference room and she's like, I want to see my updated financial plan and income plan. I was like, oh, okay. So we went and prepared it and we came back like 3 minutes later and we said, here you go. She's like, okay, I'm done. I just wanted to make sure that you're updating my stuff like you said on TV.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we were able to do that. So we can't say something on here if we're not actually doing it, right? But the bottom line is that if somebody comes in and they have a problem, right? And so sometimes they're going to come in and they're like, I did not expect this to happen. We have to be able to solve that issue. And that's, again, why we work together as a team for the benefit of the client.
I think the other question that we need to ask, because you probably may be in this situation at home, how do you know if loyalty is holding you back? And think about that for just a moment. If you've been with an advisor throughout the entire accumulation phase of your life, you may have gone to graduations, birthday parties, perhaps even weddings. Eric, talk a little bit about that. How do you know if loyalty is holding you back?
Yeah. So this is a real thing. And I'm glad that we're talking about this today because this could have a huge effect on your retirement. So when we have a prospective client call in, it's typically because they're questioning their portfolio, their income. They don't have a financial plan, or they're just questioning when they can actually retire. More than likely, they have concerns, so they're coming in. A lot of times they say, I've been working with this advisor for a long time. The worst is if they're a family friend, or worse, they're even a family member. And if we take a look at the portfolio, and I feel like it's a very outdated portfolio, they don't have a financial plan, there is that personal roadblock that we have to get through, right? Because they're attached in one way or another to that advisor. Maybe they've been working for them for a very long time and they're like, I just can't make a difference. So when we do a lot of initial planning, we do the personal financial blueprint, we sit down with them, there is living proof that they have to make a change, right? And so there's one question that I ask, do you have the emotional capacity to make a change? And if they say, Eric, I mean, I got to do something, I got to make a change, we're going to move forward. If they sit there and there's kind of like a rest and there's a couple seconds go by, I know that they are not emotionally capable to make that change. They're not able to move forward, even though they know it. And so they'll come back to me. And after I see everything that more than likely we can improve on, build an income plan, start building out their lifestyle, they say, Eric, I got to think about it. You know what I'm thinking about? And this is where I'm honest. What is there to think about? You're not in a good position.
Yeah.
And that's where we end the meeting and, we leave as friends.
Yes.
But it's like, I go back to my desk and I'm like, we have to think about it. Like, there's nothing really to think about. This is the next 20 to 25 to 30 years of your life. You have no income plan. You have no financial plan. You're not de-risking the portfolio. It's the same portfolio that you had 10 and 15 years ago. What is there to think about? Our job is to try to propel you into a better situation. Our job is to try to do better and take our fiduciary responsibility very seriously. There's some advisors who won't manage their friends or family money. I will, Joseph will. Why? Because we're putting them and treating them like every other client. We're putting them through a process. I know where they are. So the bottom line is that is one of the most crucial questions that you can ask someone. Do you have the emotional capacity to make a change?
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. Viewers at home, do you have the emotional capacity to make a change? If you know that something doesn't feel right with what you currently have in place for your retirement, why not pick up the phone and take advantage of the 10-minute complimentary discovery consultation today? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Don't let loyalty hold you back. If you know that you need stronger guidance and stronger support, you're being offered that. All you have to do, call in to 1-800-779-1942, or you can grab your smartphone and simply click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That is the first step in the right direction to make sure that you have peace of mind in your retirement years. We'll be right back momentarily.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams? Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you. Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals. We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement they've always dreamed of.
Retirement Wealth Advisors with Eric Kearney.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And viewers at home, we've been asking you all along to do a retirement gut check. Make sure that everything feels right that you currently have in place for your retirement years. So thank you for taking this journey with us. Joseph, I want to ask you, how can you tell, what signs are there actually that a plan has not evolved? What are you looking for?
I mean, the first, and this sounds funny to even say it, but have things changed over the last 5 to 10 years? I mean, and it sounds hilarious, but I've actually seen portfolios that have come to the office. People have no financial plan. They have a portfolio. It's getting managed by somebody. And I could see the acquisition date. It's been the same thing, same positions for the last 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
And Cynthia, we're very transparent in the office, and people sometimes get surprised when I do this. But I literally tell them, I'll say, what fee are you paying for this account? And they'll tell me, and I said, if you just take your advisor off of this and do the same thing, you're already gonna make more than you would in this because you're not gonna be paying that fee. So if you're happy with that, then that's what you should do because they're not servicing you. There's no value there. And that's just the truth. I mean, that's what I think about. When I'm sitting on the other side of the table, and I know, and this is something Eric has taught me too, over time, mentoring me, been with the firm now 9 years, but something I always think about is, what value am I bringing this client, right? Like when I go to sleep at night and I know that I've done as much as I can for all my clients, that's what I'm thinking about is all the different values that I'm bringing to the table. But I know I'm getting off track. So to kind of get back to this question here, think about all the different aspects that have changed over the last 5 to 10 years, taxes, our own lives, healthcare. Your plan has to evolve with that. And the amount of people that when I'm sitting with them, and whether they're working with an advisor or not, and I bring up the Secure Act. The Secure Act is something that changed 6 years ago, in 2020. And I tell them how their IRAs are now going to get inherited by their beneficiaries, the 10-year rule, and they have to pull the money out, and it's taxable income. And they look at me sometimes like I have 6 eyeballs, right? Because they're like, I didn't know that. I had no idea, which simply tells me the plan is not evolving. Nothing is changing in there, So as you go through retirement, it's about going through those different phases and stages and wanting to make sure that the plan is updated and in real time, accurate for your situation. And if you're seeing clear evidence that it's not, I think that's the biggest evidence that you need a second opinion for your situation.
Most definitely. That is very scary the way that you explain that, Joseph. People need to be up to date with everything going on in their financial future. Absolutely. Eric, let me ask you, if someone feels unclear about their retirement picture, what should they do?
I mean, again, it's a simple conversation, just give us a call. And there's a lot of people who say it's so overwhelming to me, Eric. And so what we try to do is really break it down by a few things. And what do you want your lifestyle to look like? Tell me about what you want to do in your retirement days. The next thing that you can do is start writing down your 3 top concerns. These are my top 3 concerns that I have for retirement. And instead of worrying about them, let's start to work on them. And so really there is a strategy there where all of a sudden, the more you talk about it, the more you embrace it, the more you educate yourself about it, it just becomes better. There's a lot of times where we get so overwhelmed by something that we actually shut down, but then there's other people who actually embrace it and say, okay, what do I have to do to tackle this? Retirement is such a big deal. It is such a massive time frame because we really aren't retiring into 1 year. We are retiring into 2 or 3 decades.
Yes.
And it's a very long time. So we've got to be prepared. All that work that you do in the beginning will pay off in the long run.
And what should people expect in a proper review process? I do want to end with that today.
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about that, and then I'll let Joseph finish up with that. But in the review meeting, what we're doing is we're just taking a look at what's working, what's not working, and we also show you what adjustments that we've made. So people always want proof, they want verification that we are actually managing the portfolio. We're paying attention to the financial plan. They want to go out and go golfing, boating, traveling. They want to make sure that behind the scenes, we're actually doing something. And this is one thing that I'm very grateful for our complete team to do.
Yeah, I would say that the whole reason we started the 10-minute phone call is just because we want to learn a little bit more about your situation and how we could be of assistance. That's all the 10-minute phone call is about. Just learning a little bit more about your situation and how we could be of assistance.
And again, who doesn't have an extra 10 minutes when you factor
That's
in
right.
waiting in your car and Starbucks lines? I mean, there's 10 minutes everywhere. You could just pick up the phone and call in.
The funny thing is I was waiting for my meatloaf to get done, and I had an extra
Bring up
10
your
minutes.
sister one more time.
I love this. No, go ahead. Wait for me.
No, I'm done.
Are you sure? All right. That was going to be funny. I could just tell. Okay. To the viewers at home, who doesn't have an extra 10 minutes, unless it's Eric and he's watching the timer on the meatloaf? The number to call is 1-800-779-1942, 1-800-779-1942. Pick up the phone, call in today, have the 10-minute complimentary discovery consultation, or grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today. Take care. See you soon.
Hey, Southwest Florida, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions after today's show, please give us a call.
Remember, you only retire once. Let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement.